Morning. Who is Jesus? Here's something to think about. Some people believe that these days science is moving so fast that belief in God should by rights now be a thing of the past. Because, well, the Bible was written from 3,000 to 2,000 years ago. How can its truth possibly keep up with what we all now know? But there are many eminent scientists who believe the complete opposite. And that's what I believe. I believe science is only just catching up with what the Bible has been saying all along. As an example, DNA was discovered in 1953, when it was proved that every living organism, every cell, is acting on instructions. It's reading, responding to, replicating a coded sequence of information. The reason for its existence. 3,000 years before the discovery of DNA, at a time when other faiths were using myths to explain how we came to be, long before people knew of cells or atoms, long before DNA, the Bible says this over and over again in Genesis chapter 1. And God said. The reason for the creation of the world. And God said. And God said, let the land produce living creatures. Then God said, let us make man in our image, in our likeness. You can imagine the objections over the course of 3,000 years. You can imagine people saying, hang on, I'm physical, I'm solid. How can I just be said into existence? You can't just say something and then it is. And then, 1953. Oh, perhaps, yes, it turns out every living thing has been said into existence. If not, it simply does not exist. What does any of that have to do with Jesus? Well, that's where the controversy begins. Pretty much everyone these days believes in DNA. Pretty much everyone agrees that at the heart of you and I, in every cell, there's a unique string of code, a long, complicated, extraordinarily powerful word. A word that generates life. But who spoke it? Who produced the code for me and you? Answers vary. It is quite popular to say nobody. All this came about by chance. This highly successful code wrote itself. This incredibly powerful word spoke itself. Now, I do find that incredible. Any computer programmer will tell you random code produces nothing. If a string of code exists, on the other hand, that can reliably generate creatures as complex and sophisticated and beautiful as those that are on planet Earth, it's fair to say someone put that code together. Someone spoke that word. The Apostle John had never heard of DNA, of course. But he knew Jesus. And he wrote these words about Jesus. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, And the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of men. That's John chapter 1, verses 1 to 4. John was in no doubt whatsoever about who spoke the word that speaks everything else, including you and me. Before we look at the truly staggering implications of what John just said, what do you think?